Today we are going to speak about important topic from my book, Palestinians and Palestinians in Torah Code. Now this book was translated from Hebrew. It came in few languages, Russian, others, but the translator is one of the, this was Feldheim told me, is one of the best translators to English. Beautiful, really, languages, I feel. So I will bring this very, very important thing which he wrote in the book, really. She's so true, but unfortunately difficult to accept. And day by day, terrorists attack. This morning, 2 soldiers, father to children was killed, murdered. It does not have an end, no. Where will be the end? Where will be the end? But apparently when Messiah will come. But unfortunately, really such, so many people are murdered and killed by the terrorists. A single one entered and managed to kill 2 and to wound 7, I think. So let us see what this book has to tell us such important things. I start with a table, biblical table. Basically, I did it with Professor Ralik, found out that it's very highly statistic, I think 1 to 500,000. In our book, really, and today's, which is good, with the explanation, Mrs. Sulman, we brought it and explained it, but here I will bring it in the book. It is not so clear, but to remind you what is written there. So, this is a table, yeah, and this is what comes out here. Difficult to see, but you have here, from up to down, Abu Mazen, yeah, and then in the center, you have, you can see, remember what America did to you, clearly connecting Abu Mazen, the Palestinian, with Amalek. And then in the down, we have the verse in the Torah, when the Torah says they want to exterminate you, eradicate you from the world, from the land. Unbelievable. Okay, so I say it's not so clear here, but it's in my book, End of Days, in Bible Code, is much clearer and clearly explains the statistic of it. But this is what comes out here, yeah? Abu Mazen answers the Torah, and with the best meeting with Amalekites, and exactly the location of the Torah, that they want to kill you, to eradicate you. Yeah, this is exactly what are the Palestinians. So let us see now what I wrote in this book, translated beautifully by Rabbi Lavon, and it's such important verse which clearly tells us where we are, but unfortunately the Satan is very strong. People don't look at it, yeah? And perhaps I show you another very interesting and significant table. It appears in one book, Deuteronomy, 1 chapter 28. Few verses, right? Unbelievable. And this, what you have here, you have the Palestinians, yeah, Amalekites, Ashmed, destruction, this is what you want to do, and also Lavidechem, to kill you, to destroy you, and to uproot you from the land. This is exactly what you have in this table. And let us see. what you have here. It is unbelievable. As I said, you can see here, you can see it here clearly. Yeah. So you have the Philistines coming from up to down. Then you have the Amalekite, and then the verse to destroy you, to kill you, to eliminate you. Unbelievable, really. This is exactly what you have here in this table. So this table also you can see much clearer in the book End of Days, which you can get in my search. You can get really have in online from every almost like Burns and Herbers and so on. But it's so highly statistic, Professor Harlik, we did with him together at the table, 500,000. So what you saw is not so clear, but it was about Philistines, yeah, Plishtim, and then you have next to it about Amalekites, as you saw, and Ashmed, discussion, this is what you want to do, and then you have the verses, you want to labid etchem, to destroy, to kill you, וניסחתם מעל אדמה, to uproot you from your land, which he did already in Gush Katif. Yeah, frightening. This is a situation, and once, only by keeping the Torah, you will be able to get rid of this terrible situation. Terrorists attack almost every day. So, what is really the Midrash tell us about Amalek? Unbelievable. So the Midrash makes this point even clearer with an allegory of Israel's journey through the desert and their original encounter with Amalek. We know the Torah tells us when Jews desecrated the Shabbos, Amalek came and attacked them. So the Midrash tells us the following. A father was once carrying his son on his shoulders as they walked along. The son kept seeing various objects and asking his father, "Pick that up and give it to me. Have you seen my father?" This is what he asked this person. The angered father exclaimed, "Oh, so you don't know where I am?" and threw him down on the floor, whereupon a dog came and beat him, and he shouted, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." So Rashi makes the point crystal clear. God said to the Jews in the desert, "I am always among you, ready to provide all your needs. Yet you ask, is God in our midst or not? As you live, the dog will come and bite you, and then you will cry to me, and you will find out where I am." Amazing this situation today. Whenever Israel forgets their Father in heaven and grow weak in faith, Amalekite attack like a savage dog and arouses them to pray to their Father in heaven. Exactly what is happening, you see? 7th of October, what happened afterwards? And unfortunately, every day, almost, terror attack like this morning, the heartbreaking, father to children was murdered. The terrorists managed to go through and to kill, to murder 2 and 2 wound about 7. So one should know, and important to know what our rabbis tell us in Midrash are everywhere. What is Amalek? Amalek come because of desecration of Shabbos, of lack of faith. This is Amalek. Amalek is Amlak. The meaning of Amalek are people who want to lick the blood of Jews, like dogs. This is what they are. This is why the Medrash compare the Amalekites to dogs. In fact, Amalek is often likened to a dog in the Medrash and the Zohar in Kabbalah. The Zohar, in its cryptic, symbolic language, explain why. Very interesting. Because the dog is the offspring of a bull and a donkey. Definitely, this is come to Kabbalah. In the Kabbalah, this is what I mean. The Kabbalistic commentators explain that in the Zohar symbolism, the bull exemplifying arrogance, pride, the dominant trait of Isu, Edom, yeah. This was the arrogance, yeah, proud. And the donkey exemplify lust, characteristics of Ishmael, yeah, lust, yeah, they need a lot of wives, and we see clearly their behavior, and the story 7 of October, kidnapping and raping, frightening. And the donkey amplified this characteristic of Ishmael. The dog has both of these negative qualities, as hinted by the tendency to run in front of his master and direct his steps, and by his insatiable anger, you know. This is what I said, he barks, have, give, all the time, want to take, yeah. And this is what the Torah says, the dogs are brazen, they cannot be satisfied. These same two traits, arrogance and greed, lust, have always been epitomized by Amalek, in whom they appear in full force even until our own days. Unbelievable, the Zohar. Even the Zohar says beautifully that this idea about pride and lust coming together of the ox and the donkey, so the ox will represent pride, yeah, and the ox definitely represents this, and the middle letter of the Hebrew word show, ox, is Vav, 6. Chamor, donkey, which represents lust, desire, the Arabs, is as in the middle, the letter Mem Vav, are 46. So the middle letters of the ox, Vav, and the middle letters of the Chamor, Mem Vav, 46, together 52, which is the Gematria of dog, Caleb. This is exactly what they are. And this is exactly what you see today, the combination of lust and haughtiness, pride, yeah. This we said Edom, the nation of Edom, which are very proud, I think. And the Arabs, the Ishmaelites, which definitely full of lust, desires, and so on. So, exactly, this is what we have today, and this is what the Torah tells us in Kabbalah. Our enemies have, this is what is written, no strength but what we grant them ourselves. And how do we go about doing this strange thing? God has endowed our people with precious gifts, but as the Shemi Shmuel, the very famous commentator of books, so he said it further, points out, this is what are his words, so important to know. If Israel give offense to any of the spiritual excellencies that have been granted it, the nations of the world take over that quality for themselves. Frightening, yeah. Based on the Zohar, definitely. This same blessing, if they are unfortunately despised by Israel, can turn around and become weapons in the Gentile nations' hands. For example, the amazing example shall bring. We are, for instance, one nation in earth, as here the prophet said. And history shows that when we deny this heavenly gift and indulge in internal dissensions and hatred, the nation of the world take over our gift of unity and use it as a boomerang against us. Frightening. The verse of the very famous, the verse of the word Chanukah, Imen, Mausu, brings this out perfectly. The Greeks joined together against me and broke through the walls of our towers, only because the Greeks had picked up the discarded gift of unity, left at the wayside by the strife-torn Jewish people. Could they burst through the walls of Jewish holiness? And only by the efforts of the righteous Hashmonai at the time, where Israel led back to the unity that they had forgotten in their unfortunately sectarian quarrels and hatred, and so were unable to repel the Greeks at last. It's unbelievable, really, all this which is written, and it is so true in our time, We see the same things happening today as dissertation spreads through the Jews of Israel. And unity becomes more and more a thing of the past. Unity is spreading throughout the hostile Arab world, and the Arabs are developing an increasing solidarity with the Palestinians. With our estrangement and strife, we ourselves are empowering the enemy, giving them the ability to join together and to break through our walls. It is as if we were breaking them down ourselves. Frightening. So this is what you see today. No unity by Jews, arguments, fighting. So this gives power to our enemies. Another of our spiritual treasures, the Jews, what we got, is the power to discern innate faith and truth in the world, like Abraham, who called out in the name of God. He was teaching the whole world about faith of God, and he made souls even converted, what he was Rabbi Selah. Gathered people into faith in God. The Jewish people were promised that they would be a light to the nation. But where and what if they do not use this power, which they were given to influence, to bring light to the nation? What if they really perversely turn their backs on the light of faith and plunge themselves into darkness? On this account, Israel was threatened not only by the Greeks' military might, but also by their Hellenism influence. Since the Jews spurned their task of spreading the Torah's light to the world, among their own brethren also, and through the world, the Jewish power of spiritual enlightenment was given over to the Greeks, who prevented it and turned it against Israel. It's such important and really basic idea that all these wonderful merits, really these special ideas which have to do with Judaism, in Judaism, with Jewish people, unfortunately, when misused, see the result is the Gentiles ever take you against them. This very thing is happening against before our eyes, since such a large part of the Jewish people has turned its back on to the Torah, unfortunately. So the various sorts of missionaries come clustering around the Holy Land as this thick as flies, you see. Unfortunately, we see it, people don't realize, but missionaries become now stronger and stronger and try to penetrate everywhere. Their totally messages would normally interest no one, yet we see their persuasive power, and we ought to recognize it, for it was once our own. So it is unfortunately, very, very unfortunately, all what we heard just now, the ideas from Ishmael, Kabbalah, and the Zohar, the Jews were granted from God for such wonderful power of unity, and the Torah full of light, unfortunately, not realizing how many people know the greatness, the beauty of the Torah, how much is behind, and you can give so much to the nation, to the Gentiles. Okay, basically, part of it I'm doing with the cause, the Torah, and Baruch Hashem, many are really, I can see in the internet, but most really Gentile. Jews not, so this is exactly what just now we read, that if Jews don't realize and appreciate fully Torah and all the things, so comes the nations and try to take it to their own religion. So, very, very important, really, this book, as I said, the book about Palestinians, and the translation is such, you can see yourself that it's difficult to pronounce the words, which I never heard about. Okay. So, as it is known and important to know that Israel's purpose in the world is to disseminate the light of faith in God throughout the world. Only this spiritual destiny is capable of uniting our people and welding them into a single unit. Although at various times Jewish leaders have attempted to replace this prophetic vision with a material destiny, political, governmental, cultural, or what have you, they have achieved thereby only division and strife, never unity. So we see clearly, and this is really reflected in the book of Exodus story, where we find another example of an enemy inheriting our strength. When the Egyptians were chasing after the fleeing Israelites, the Torah tells us, as far as drew near, the children of Israel raised their eyes, and there was Egypt running after them. It is unusual that the word Nassau, which is to travel to, is in the singular. She's written in plural, that the Egyptians are running in Nassau. So why is written? So Rashi explained that the Egyptians were of one heart, united like one man, in their determination to recapture the Hebrews. The Kabbalistic sages delve deeper and point out that the Jews' reason for fearing the approaching Egyptian was their enemies' manifest solidarity. Israel, one nation in the world, whose unity is without equal, knew well what awesome power lies in unity, and justified feared a united foe. Amazing. This is what to tell us, that if there is no unity among Jews, there is unity among their enemies. This is also realized that their pursuer sudden solidarity could only have come from their own weakening, their quarreling and manual mistrust had bled away their innate. They would therefore have to come together immediately, and the means for that was prayer. As the Torah says, the children of Israel cried out to God. Only shared spiritual endeavor they knew could entire them. Amazing ideas, which is really the basis of everything. It's such terrible situation in Israel. What you can do? Fighting, and fighting, left and right, religious and then secular, anything, fighting. Yeah, demonstrations against religion, demonstrations against Netanyahu. It's frightening. How can a country can still, especially Israel? Because as you saw just now, the Kabbalah said that if we are misusing our wonderful gifts that God gave us, unity and so on, Am Echad, Goy Echad Ba'aretz, such unity that Israel got nowhere. I remember in the time of the Sixth War that there was such strong unity in Israel. So the world, in the papers, Israel used to, at that time, to bring whatever the papers in the world say about Israel, and they said, we could not believe there's such unity in Israel among Jews. It means in Gentiles, the world was amazed from the unity. But what is now? Pieces of pieces. The very famous explanation why arguments among Jews is much stronger than others. So they say it is Israel compared to a glass, each kind of a crystal. So what happens when you break crystal glass? Millions of pieces. While if it is a simple, glass, so there are few, like you check the Arab, you have Hamas and Sunnis and Shias, whatever it is. But if you take in Israel, it's frightening, the situation of arguments and fight, because everyone thinks that he deserves to be the prime minister. Everyone thinks it. Everyone thinks that he deserves. Everyone thinks that he deserves. Okay, good. It is right, because they're great people, but they have to use it for Torah and not for politics and so on. So very important, really, lecture, long one, but it's worthwhile really getting my book, Palestinians, this. You can get it online, you can get it online. Many bookshops like Barnes & Noble, eBay, whatever. Sell Hebrew books, you can get this one. Very, very important one, really. I think one translation is, you can see how difficult to pronounce so many beautiful words that he's using. A great scholar, by the way, Talmid Chacham. This is what you have to know. We have to know what we are, what is a Jew, what the Torah wants from us, and what really things we got, and what is our duty, the goal, to spread Judaism, to bring light to the world, not darkness. So, important lecture.